it's just become this like European ban, because pretty much all our mid laners can play Fizz and they can win games on Fizz.
Yeah.
So we just have these teams here. If they fear the mid laner enough, they ban it. Twisted Fate as well. And we often see SK Gaming focus a lot on the other mid laner, simply also to try and give Jesiz an advantage in the laning phase.
See there for Fnatic then, going to get Cyanide's go-to champion when it's available, the Evelyn. And also Tristana. I mean, Rekkles was playing Tristana back in these Copenhagen Wolves days when not a lot of people were actually playing Tristana. He's so good with that champion.
And as we talked about in the last game, it's just a safe pick now. Because your laning phase is so strong, you can just blind pick it. And of course, Evelyn was actually first picked by Fnatic yesterday over Gragas. Didn't even care about it. Did the same last week. Really seems to favor Evelyn above everything else in the jungle.
So, speaking of junglers, Svenskeren's got his as well, taking Elise here in their second round of picks, and Orianna. Expected that one without not going too late into the picture, especially on the blue side. Very safe pick, very strong pick as well overall.
Yeah, so very standard from SK Gaming. In terms of pick, you got strong laners, you got strong early game jungler, you can pick them blind. They did already show the two solo laners, unless it's gonna be support Gragas again from nRated.
Yeah.
Could of course be a choice. Otherwise, on Fnatic side, Syndra is open for the mid lane if they do want to pick it into Orianna in the laning phase here and try and shut down Jesiz. And with the Evelyn, they can set up some pretty nasty picks if SK does split up. But when you already have Orianna and Gragas in that case, SK Gaming is not looking to split up. They're looking to stay together as a team and look for fights.
I think they're going to leave the top lane choice maybe to Lassie, knowing that Gragas could end up switching around. The cow being picked up for YellOwStaR.
Okay. Alistar here, remember, 4.12. Got some changes, less mana cost on his Q and W, which is very important for him. And then his ulti is instantly 70% damage reduction from level 6 now, which also is a big change. And it really opens up for a lot of tower dive options with Alistar early on here. We often see him roaming around and just sit in the lane when we do see Alistar players. They want to make plays early on, they want to dive the enemy mid laner. And when you already have a stun now from Xerath, you could set it up.
Interested to see how this Alistar is played by YellOwStaR, because he is one support that has been on form throughout the entire season. Even when Fnatic were having a few troubles winning games, YellOwStaR was still doing very well. It's actually going to be a Renekton pick here, so will be a top lane Renekton with the Gragas moving into the support role. nRated, of course, did play it in their game, in their win against Millennium as well.
So Fnatic now, because they have Alistar and Tristana together, there's a lot of knockback on their side, which opens up for a teleport coming down from sOAZ, and then you just double knock back a target from SK Gaming, and he's caught way behind enemy lines, and you can then take him down, making it a little bit risky for nRated with the Gragas if he does body slam in, but he's just looking to poke anyway with the barrel. And Renekton, we haven't seen Renekton in a long time. Still the lane bully we used to, but does get outskilled against most top laners in the current meta. And therefore we could actually see Fnatic just look for the lane swap here and completely avoid this lane bully Renekton is.
We're talking about sOAZ here,
He's gonna go Yorick, man. Never mind.
Nah, not quite. Switching out there to Yasuo. You got the first letter right, so that wasn't too far away. Yasuo going to be picked in here for sOAZ. He's a man who's not scared of bringing something a little bit different out. Funnily enough, that's the second game in a row that we're going to have the top lane Yasuo.
It is, and Kevin in the last game did a very good job farming. He didn't have any issues dealing with a Maokai top lane. Now it's a Renekton top lane instead. He can actually kill you, apply pressure onto you, so sOAZ will have to be careful in the lane, unless of course Fnatic decides to swap it around. Because if they lane swap, they can also roam with Alistar.
And let's be honest, Fnatic love this lane swap. They love to dive underneath the tower early on and kill the solo laner. And Alistar's one of the best around for doing something like that with his combo underneath the turret. We'll see exactly how Fnatic are going to go into that. Of course, they were a little bit foiled when it came to that level 1 yesterday, but after that, didn't really have too many problems in their almost perfect game. Well, guys, do you still think Fnatic will end the day with a win? Tweet at LOL Esports with the hashtag SKWin or hashtag FNCWin to let us know, and we'll see if the numbers changed. 88% of you going for Fnatic. This is second versus third right now in the table, so for me, that's a huge vote considering the position.
It is, especially because SK Gaming have looked very good in the last few games they've played, so we can't really count them out here. And the lineup they do have, you have Jesiz on Orianna. He loves to play it, always very strong in the laning phase. And yes, they do have Renekton, who's going to get outscaled, but then you have Orianna, and you have also a hyper carry for Candy Panda, who's going to scale well into the late game, and therefore, they do have a lot of late game power as well. Dealing with an Alistar, however, in teamfights, it's not fun.
Not fun whatsoever. And as I said, if YellOwStaR plays it anything like he's been knocking out the Morgana and Thresh performances, could be painful for SK. Let's find out. It's our final El Clasico of the regular split season here. As SK Gaming take on Fnatic, with SK looking to pull away somewhat from that middle of the pack to the third spot.
And we do see Svenskeren here on Elise. One of the cool things is you can start a ward because you don't actually need 5 potion. Once again, starting with a ward. Wonder if he wants to go into the jungle of Fnatic and place it. Take it easy, guys. It's just a pause.
Hopefully just a small one here. We'll see exactly what the plan seems to be. Seems to be with sOAZ. So that'll hopefully be resolved here shortly and we can get back into game. Obviously wants everything running nicely, especially when he's up against Renekton or possibly in that 1v2 scenario here.
He did actually start Doran's Blade, and it's not a matchup I see very often. So maybe he's going to surprise us, take the one-on-one and just kick Freddy's ass. However, if you just look at the champions itself, if you do pick Renekton and you don't win your lane, you might as well just quit.
Well,
not quit being a player, it's just the game.
Well, we do see a Doran's shield start, actually, for Freddy. So does that indicate the fact that he's maybe expecting this 1 versus 2 scenario to come his way?
Could definitely mean it, yeah. And just going to stay. Normally, Freddy in the 1v2, he always stays in the lane. And he tries to just get as much XP as possible. And then once the minion wave hit the tower, if Svenskeren is not nearby, then finally he moves away from the tower, actually. He always stays, try to get just a little bit XP. Then he moves into the jungle later on to join Svenskeren. He's Renekton, however, so always a bit risky to dive a Renekton early on, especially if Svenskeren is nearby. So maybe SK want to try and bait it in case we get a lane swap. We keep talking about these lane swaps, even though we haven't actually seen the lanes yet. What we can say is level 1, Alistar with Flash Q, pretty good engage. Does require you, however, to actually find a target and also blow your flash.
If you go as well into the enemy jungle, which Fnatic have been doing, they've been getting those wards almost inside of the base almost, so that they can see exactly where their opponents have actually been going into lane. As it stands right now, they've actually got 4 men running down the bottom lane, so that might actually be something that they're looking to do. As I mentioned before, seems to be a little problem with sOAZ. Not with him in person, but with his setup here. So once that is resolved, we'll be getting back underway. But you know, Fnatic got that top 2 spot now, all safe. Might be time for something a little bit flashy out of Fnatic, and well, the cow for YellOwStaR may be the start of that.
I believe he just wants to actually try it out in a real game, see how it works. Because again, well, they are actually still. No, they can't reach Alliance anymore.
No.
So they are 100% number 2. Opens up to try out some new picks. Yasuo top lane, new for sOAZ. And of course Alistar for YellOwStaR. And again, normally he likes to roam. He likes to set kills up early game. And Alistar is the perfect champion to do it on. He didn't actually start boots, however. Started Relic Shield. So it could indicate they're actually looking for now 2v2 lanes instead. And therefore not roam around, which we have seen all the Alistar players do. And I do have to comment, Rekkles hair today is very different compared to yesterday. It looks sharp.
Yeah, he actually said on Twitter yesterday that he was just trying it out for one day, and he decided against it, so he was going to change it back to its old style.
Unlucky.
You see there, SK looking very composed and very focused. That man on the end, Freddy, who's come up big for SK so many times. Let's think back to yesterday where he managed a 3-man or 4-man even knock-up with Aatrox. And then, of course, Candy Panda stole all the kills with his passive on Kog'Maw. Of
course, you're the AD carry, man. You have to get the kills. But Freddy, for me, is a very good and consistent player. And then he makes a lot of calls for SK Gaming as a team, which is something they've talked about, where he's very good at not necessarily being like the guy who always talks, but when it comes down to the very important calls, let's make a move now. He's very good at just finding the right call, and it's something they've used in the past to actually out-rotate, outsmart the other teams.
Well, guys, just a quick update on what's actually going on here. It seems like sOAZ got a bit of a room page problem, so we're going to be remaking the game. Same picks, same bands, though, so everything just going to start again.
I guess we also have to rejoin the game then. We can
That's
just do
true.
it
That's true.
while we are waiting.
We should do that as well. Otherwise, well, we're not going to be in the game, and that would be a bad thing overall. See that? SK Gaming looking to solidify that third place spot that they've, to be honest, come out with a different style, I think it's safe to say. Their first game of the week, they came out super aggressive, lots of kills in that game as well, and done really well for themselves. But they, again, same as all of these mid-place teams, have had their ups and their downs to the extreme.
And SK Gaming as a team, they always talk about confidence. Seems to be like the main ingredients for success if you're SK Gaming. You need to have confidence going into the game. You need to make some plays. Don't be afraid. Just don't sit back in your lane and farm. So in terms of like quarterfinals, semifinals, best out of 5, you could fear if they do lose the very first game in the best out of 5, it's going to hurt the mentality on the team.
Yeah.
Then again, we don't actually know because we have seen them play best out of 5 before against Fnatic. They ended up losing it, but it didn't seem like it was because they didn't feel confident enough. I mean, they did get to the final last split and actually looked like a very good team. So it's going to be hard to say, but they've had their ups and downs as well. We were always talking about how SK Gaming was one of the top teams in Europe, and all of a sudden they lost 5 games in a row, and we didn't really know what was going on. Now they seem to have been picking it up once again at the right time. I mean, just around playoffs, just around the chance of going to Worlds.
That's the thing. Even if you have a terrible first half to a split, as long as you manage to hit your form, with enough time to spare, that you can actually get those wins on the board. If you find the finest form that you've got just before playoffs hit, you're in a really, really good position moving forward, when, especially in the summer split where you're looking at Worlds.
And remember Gambit 1 year ago, in the summer split 2013, wasn't the best season for Gambit. They were in their big tiebreaker of actually going to Gamescom, where the loser would get 7th place and not go to playoffs. Gambit, they peaked at the right time, went to Gamescom, and actually qualified for Worlds, where they also got out the group stage. SK Gaming can look to do the same here.
And there are a lot of teams and a lot of discussion going around. Of course, top 2 teams, Alliance, Fnatic, and you say the way that they're playing right now look, I don't want to say sureties for Worlds, but definitely the big favorites.
Yes.
And then there's this middle pack of teams which SK, I'd say, are looking the better of at this point. Millennium have picked up a couple of losses in there. The Super Hot Crew looked lost in their game earlier on today. And it's hard to really say who's that third team going to be that's actually moving through. Guys, though, we have had the game remade, so we're going to jump in there. We'll start it again. SK Gaming versus Fnatic. Looks like we're going to get an exact repeat of positionings as well here from Fnatic, as I was saying before, running down that bottom lane.
Yeah, once again, moving down, only sending xPeke over to the red buff so he can ward it. Actually, not even his red buff, but he's just going to ward to see if SK invades onto the Fnatic red buff. Everyone else moving as a unit.
Yeah, apparently sOAZ couldn't get away from his Lulu room page, which not ideal when you're playing Yasuo. He obviously wanted to come into this with
it's a challenge.
Full crit runes.
It's easy.
Full crit runes as he's running now. Possibly not. But Fnatic here, setting up something a little bit special, but will SK be lured into it? Only Peke is away from the rest of the team, and it's a pulverized death for somebody. If somebody goes in there, it's not a brush that you'd usually ward yourself right at the start of the game. And Candy Panda here, they're going to spot him with that ward. He's used his ward already to go down, and nRated's moving in here as well. And Candy Panda stepping 1 foot closer to danger. Will nRated
send in the fat man
to be the one to check it? Who's going to go in there first? It's going to be nRated to face check, and there's a pulverized surprise. nRated, is he going to go down? Someone's under the tower. It worked through it. How in God's name did he survive that with hardly any health? Slaps his thighs and recalls to base.
Man,
I have no idea how he survived that.
Experience from Candy Panda. He's tried it before. DreamHack Season 1, Fnatic made the same play. He was the guy to face check. He died. This time he sent in his support. And man, he also survived. Still, flashed. Heal was used by Candy Panda. And now Rekkles is already in the lane. So you can get an early experience lead, which is very, very huge in the bottom lane.
summon a heal from Candy Panda was the saving grace there for nRated. So close. Nice try from Fnatic, something a little bit different. And in the end, we can say does work out for him in some respects. They're going to get these first few minions easily, but still, both players there for Fnatic. Level 1 means that SK can just rock on back up and get themselves back into the farm.
Still lost a few minions, so we will see YellOwStaR hit level 2 before nRated, and we could potentially go for an engage. Still, nRated on Gragas is very, very tanky, already at level 1, so not exactly the target you want to get onto. And Candy Panda, a lot of damage onto YellOwStaR here.
And that's the best thing to do here while he is still level 1. Do enough damage to him that he thinks twice then once he hits level 2, which he has now, and then decides, okay, I'm too low here to think about going in there for the combo. Actually, he leveled his heal anyway at level 2, so that wasn't going to happen.
No, he took too much damage, and they're not really looking for an engage anyway. Normally, when we see Alistar lanes, they want to be passive. They want to just sit back and use the heal from Alistar, which is very strong in the laning phase. And it works because you do have Tristana, who is a very good laner by herself. Can trade really well. She just needs a bit more range to deal with Candy Panda when he actually pops his W. But it's a matchup we've seen a few times, just AD carry-wise. Always very even in the laning phase. Now it's going to be all about supports. And nRated only has the Relic Shield to sustain Candy Panda. And now let's see what Svenskeren wants to do. There's already a ward from Cyanide. He's going to move away. Svenskeren doesn't actually get anything. He's still very healthy, and Cyanide forced to go back to base.
Yeah, got a little bit low. I think finishing off his Wraith Camp, which means while he's not there, nothing really being stolen at this stage. Let's talk again about this top lane here. We mentioned earlier Doran's shield start for Freddy, Doran's blade start for sOAZ on Yasuo. And it's Freddy that's got the early advantage there. Experience lead and CS lead as well, albeit just by a couple. Not exactly a big number. Well, there we see it, Freddy just diving in once again, and sOAZ losing about half of his health.
It's very hard for sOAZ to actually trade Freddy, so he's just going to rely on farming. Svenskeren got the golem, going for Cyanide.
Well, the golem is going to actually
Cyanide.
go for the fight. sOAZ is coming in. Renekton is coming around the backside. He actually gets away from the knock-up and goes off into the rush. Nicely done by Svenskeren. Dangerously low there from that.
Yeah, no flash used by anyone. Both junglers that kept it cool. Managed to get away here with Cyanide once again. Very, very low. Before he had to go back to base and heal. Well, Svenskeren was in his jungle. And now once again, look at Svenskeren. He's waiting. He's hoping Cyanide is going for the Wraith Camp.
Well, he actually go too low from this one. Cyanide's actually got more health than him. There we go. Ward comes down. Svenskeren is going to see that. Cyanide smites away that big Wraith and decides probably not worth chasing. It comes in just out of range there to do the damage.
And this mid lane matchup, two long-range farmers. In the case, Orianna can use a ball to farm all the minions here. And we often see, when we have this matchup, Orianna gonna get slightly ahead early on, and then once she completes her chalice and gets some mana regen, she's gonna start farming the Wraith Camp. Just instant clear the wave, go to your Wraith Camp. If you have your jungler, go to the enemy ones, and you therefore will just extend your goal lead or your farm. And we often see actually Orianna become very huge in these matchups because the teams don't know how to shut it down properly.
We've seen it time and time again. All of these players, Peke himself, been fighting for records, and it's always Orianna that manages to rack up those insane CS numbers. Look at this though, Cyanide, after stealing away the Wraith Camp, is possibly going down bottom. Because that Wraith Camp is gone, that gives them maybe a bit of insight into where Cyanide possibly is. They put a pink ward on that corner so that they can see Cyanide actually coming in again. If he does decide that one, and in the end Cyanide just went back on his way into his own jungle to keep farming.
We do have two very good early pink wards from SK Gaming in very defensive positions, simply to try and spot Cyanide. Cyanide did, however, actually get in the jungle and place two wards, so they can now see what's going on. But Svenskeren is already gone, and therefore they know he's on the top side of the map. And then be careful. Once again, Svenskeren pinging on Cyanide, moving towards the Wraith Camp. Because Jesiz is pushing up the lane, he can easily move in and help in case there's a fight between the two junglers, where xPeke would then have to sacrifice the farm being pushed into his tower. And we will see a fight again.
Oh,
Level 5 though.
Did he spot him coming around there? He's now stealthed up, gonna start himself off the golems and probably gonna get chased away. Actually, Cocoon lands, that's danger for Cyanide. Pops his speed boost and will actually manage to get away, but have been under constant pressure here from Svenskeren. Then nRated gonna put a lot of damage onto YellOwStaR as well, but this is the Svenskeren style that in the spring split in particular was so strong for SK.
And it works, first of all, because he's Elise, he's very strong in these early fights, but then because Renekton has all the pressure in top lane, he keeps pushing it down to the tower, sOAZ is forced to stay in farm, and the same thing has been happening in the mid lane. Jesiz push up the wave, and it opens up for your jungler to go into the enemy jungle and do whatever he wants to, because you're going to be there faster, or at least the other team is going to have to sacrifice farm if they want to help. So Cyanide, even though he's been forced back a few times, notice the farm difference between him and Svenskeren, also the level. So much focus on fighting from SK Gaming side. Cyanide's just been farming meanwhile.
If you look at that top lane, triple Doran start for sOAZ, something that he actually does pretty regularly, whether that's Doran's rings or blades. And up against Freddy's double Doran's blade and single Doran shield. So a lot of Doran's items already on that top side of the map. There's the first blue buff going to go to Peke. Jesiz will also get the same helping hand from his jungler on their side of the map. They're just going to simply go back off into the lane and continue their way to farm. Bottom lane farm is pretty even there as well.
He needs to push it up, however, because Svenskeren once again want to go in here and look for Cyanide. It's the red buff, which is the target, but now, notice xPeke, he's already moving. There was no way for him at the tower.
And they've spotted him. Cyanide actually going to do some good damage. There is the repel coming in, and Peke actually firing off towards the golems there. sOAZ did start to move around. Svenskeren's really low here. He's in a difficult position. The question is, where is he going to go? He's actually going to try and walk back onto it, but we see Peke starting to move in here as well. Cyanide will now come around the side. That's a big blast of damage, forcing the flash out of Svenskeren. Freddy doing a lot of damage onto sOAZ in the meantime, and SK keeping it very calm and collected, managed to get Svenskeren out alive.
Just a little bit too early they invade this time. Jesiz didn't have time to push up the mid lane and therefore force xPeke to stay at the tower so he could move in, help out Cyanide. Risky situation, but SK Gaming got out alive. Nobody died, a flash was used, and a heal from Jesiz.
We go back into that farming game where Freddy continues to rack up the CS, 78 to 60 now. Although sOAZ does have a decent wave push right up on top of his tower here. Almost missing the cannon minion there at the end. Good old Yasuo able to dash on through from that. Meanwhile, Peke actually pushing Jesiz back to his tower for, I think, the first time in the game.
Yeah, got some levels on his Q now. Can actually wave clear really well. But Jesiz constantly kill the wave, go into your jungle, take a camp, go back to lane. Slowly, he's gonna just get more and more gold, get ahead of xPeke here in the mid lane. As long as he doesn't lose his tower, he can keep doing it.
Bottom lane as well remained fairly quiet despite that insane level 1 move that Fnatic went for. But look at this now, Elise starting to move in, pings on top of his head. Yep, there's a ward there in that brush. Fnatic not going to be caught out by this one. Oh, nRated flashing in. Whoa, that was the wrong order for his combo.
Yeah. Well, he tried to surprise Rekkles, we can say. Yeah.
Would have worked out better for him, but
unlucky.
Yeah.
It happens here. Bit of a misplay by nRated. He wanted to just really set up the gank here, but Svenskeren was spotted, and there was of course flash already. The good thing about Gragas is if Tristana actually jumps instead of flash, you could knock her back with the ulti still, or at least stop her jump. YellOwStaR, however, now going from Reddit. No flash, remember.
Going in for the flash, already using that last fight, and there's a jump in. Rekkles is going to get the first blood. Fnatic picking that one up, and again we see the problem that a lot of teams have with this Evelyn. There's a ward in that second brush for SK, or at least there was. It may have timed out by now, but Evelyn's invisible. You're not going to see her coming feeling safe where you're not.
And Cyanide moves straight from the base because they saw Svenskeren on the ward, so he just moved down to this bottom lane. As soon as there was no flash on nRated, easy setup, flash Q from YellOwStaR, and then you have a first blood onto your hyper carry as well. Tristana picking it up here. Rekkles can be very happy. And it's actually doing a bit of a Korean style with his build, where you get your gold generation item earlier, generating item early, simply to quickly reach your 2 item point. You don't really care about the first item you complete, if it's Static Ship or Infinity Edge. You want to go as fast as possible towards the 2 items, which is what he's doing here. So mixing it up a little bit, but will be faster at hitting Infinity Edge and Static Ship together.
Top lane continues to be strong for Freddy, although sOAZ has managed to bring that CS lead down to around, or less than 10 even, at this point of things. That bottom turret the entire time was pretty much pushed up there as well, and Fnatic having a couple of little issues with that one, lost quite a lot of health on that tower. But look at this, SK Gaming now moving through. They're going to take this pink ward. Is that the signal to start doing Dragon? No, obviously that they were spotted, and actually will back away.
So sOAZ will have his teleport very soon. There's a long cooldown for Freddy here, which means Fnatic could be the team to set it up and use the teleport to create a 5 versus 4. I'm not sure if they actually do have the timer on Freddy's teleport. They probably do, because he used it back to the tower here. sOAZ would have timed it. I want to see if they actually are going to use it. They do have ulti on YellOwStaR now. No flash, however, to engage. So he's going to have to do just the standard W-Q combo if he's the guy to start the fight.
Freddy continues to give those problems to sOAZ, who's now picked up a Vamp Scepter, so extra bit of sustain for sOAZ in this top lane, allowing him to have more fun in this laning phase and get where he needs to be in terms of the farm. Peke again is going to be getting himself another blue buff. Just want to check in on the junglers, because there was a big CS difference between Cyanide and Svenskeren earlier on, after Svenskeren spent so much time running around Fnatic's jungle. That's about 15 CS now, the difference.
As I've just been trying to farm up as well. We only saw the gank, or the attempt to gank, in the bottom lane. Otherwise, he's just been staying in his jungle. And Cyanide is the guy who once again goes down to this bottom lane. There's a green ward in the bush. Doesn't do anything. So Cyanide is down here. It's going to be very hard to set it up, however, because SK Gaming is so far back already.
And YellOwStaR has no flash this time, of course. He used it flash Q last time to get onto nRated, who himself still has no flash after he used it just before that last fight actually kicked off. So Fnatic at this point, if they're to go in for SK on that bottom side, would have to commit to a tower dive. Yeah, and then you need at least one more member at this point of the game to take down SK Gaming. They do have teleport for sOAZ, but would be very risky, because again, they don't know where Svenskeren is, and up on his top side, if sOAZ decides to teleport away from the lane, the tower will most likely go down, because Freddy's constantly just pushing it and controlling the lane. Top lane, though, may become a focus here. xPeke and Cyanide both starting to wander up there, and sOAZ trying to stop Freddy from farming in between turrets. And not going to have too much luck with that one, I'm afraid. Ninja Tabi first item coming out there for Freddy, so getting a little bit of extra armor into him, and it's going to stop a lot of that damage that sOAZ throws his way. Yeah, so Fnatic actually wanted to kill Freddy up in the top lane, but then they saw Svenskeren show himself in the bottom lane, and they knew if they went for him 2-3 members, instantly SK Gaming would have ran to the Dragon, been able to take it, because there's only been 2 members from Fnatic to actually defend it, and therefore win the trade. You can trade Freddy dying for Dragon every single day. This mid lane farm remaining even as well, 147 to 145, both of them got themselves their Athene's Unholy Grail. Actually, Sorcerer Shoes picked up early for Jesiz here as well. Give him a bit more mobility around the map. Freddy actually might find Peke here. Is he going to force the flash? He is. Paul actually came in and got to pull the trigger on a shockwave. And look at this. They forced the flash out of Peke, got him out of this mid lane, and SK moves straight to the Dragon. And he's very far away. Cyanide as well, already moving away. So they're going to give the Dragon to SK Gaming. Don't want to fight him here early on, especially without the flash for xPeke in this mid lane. And now SK Gaming moving straight down towards this bottom lane again. Svenskeren been staying around for the last few minutes, making sure Panda could farm. And if Sana was there for a gank, which he is now, YellOwStaR going in once again, but Sana is very far away. They're going to go to nRated's flashes now. Come back up off cooldown. There is the ultimate out of Cyanide, but nRated just flashes straight out of there. And yes, that now leaves them a little bit more open again in that bottom lane, means that Svenskeren's going to have to stick around probably. Freddy just uses teleport on the top side, so if Fnatic want to set up a play with sOAZ joining in, they do have the chance. There's no ulti on nRated, very low amount of mana for Panda as well, but doesn't look like they actually want to set anything up here. Sana backing away as well. Yep, I'm going to leave that one. 16.5 minutes into this, no turrets gone down, just a single kill for Rekkles in that bottom lane. And SK, of course, with that Dragon pickup in the lead here in terms of gold. Not a big lead by any means, but a lead nonetheless. And Svenskeren has now snuck into this brush. This time, Cyanide isn't there. He's coming down through his own jungle cocoon. Oh, gonna go wide. They might have the damage to finish him off though. nRated doesn't have his ulti available. And there's the flash
TP
coming out.
behind,
TP coming in. Is he gonna be able to catch anyone though? It's Svenskeren they're gonna go for. He hops off to the minions, actually flashes away as well. Now Rekkles jumping in there. There's a lot of damage. Oh, the shockwave whiff there. Rekkles actually flashing away from it. And bit of a hairy fight on both sides down bottom. Looks like Fnatic might try and finish off the tower. Freddy gonna get top though.
So now we actually did see sOAZ teleporting to the bot lane. He saved it for such a long time. Joined in for the counter gank, but everyone managed to just disengage. However, Jesiz had to roam from the mid lane down. This could cost his mid lane turret. Or at least get it very, very low. They get the top tower for Freddy. We talked about how if sOAZ ever teleported away from the lane because Freddy kept pushing it down, it would cost his tower. Now SK Gaming can be very happy. Disengaged and also got a tower for it.
Managing to get again the flash out of both players in that bottom lane. Both of them using it in that last encounter. Rekkles with a last second flash out of Jeziz's shockwave. Would have surely meant death for him if he'd have not been able to pull that one off. But again, Cyanide coming down bottom.
Let's see, Panda could be the target. There's no flash, remember he used it before.
Oh, he's missed it.
Yeah.
That was a Joe Miller Alistar combo right there.
I do believe if you do it too fast, you actually end up, you do the damage from the Q, but you still knock him back and then he gets knocked up or he takes the damage after the headbutt. So, didn't work here. Again, no flash from YellOwStaR to actually set it up, and there, yes, nRated could have been the target, but he's still pretty tanky at this point.
Have a look down some items now. We're approaching 20 minutes, so first few are starting to come in. We see top lane Freddy got himself Tiamat and almost going to be finishing himself off the Randuin's Omen there as well. Blade of the Ruin King on the other side for sOAZ, going the same way that Kevin actually did in the previous game.
Yeah, so simply just wants their one-on-one sustain and also the damage for it. If Sana joins in or if xPeke joins in for the top lane, you do have the slow now from Blade to try and chase down Freddy, but it's been their Freddy lane. Because he's playing Renekton, he's supposed to dominate the lane. Didn't actually get a kill onto sOAZ, and they were very even in form before the teleport, so SK Gaming haven't really managed to shut him down.
Oh, Cyanide actually going aggressive here onto Svenskeren and almost paying the price. Peke coming a little bit late to that party. Freddy had started to move down as well, and scary couple of moments there for Cyanide. He was the one that actually started that. I think he thought that Peke was going to be backing him up straight away, but that's not the case, and they've lost their grip on their own jungle here on the top side. There's the ultimate out of nRated. He's trying his best here to keep this tower alive. He's not going to be able to manage it, though. It's going to go down before he can do it, and there is the pulverized headbutt, knocks him back towards the team. Yeah, they've not got enough damage. That's how tanky nRated is.
He doesn't have ult. He used it on the minions before, with Panda joining in for the fight.
Oh, good slow there onto YellOwStaR. He's going to pop his ultimate, which makes him very hard to take down. Meanwhile, Peke and Cyanide getting involved here in that middle lane. Jesiz already used his shockwave to get Peke low. Cyanide low. That's a great start. Svenskeren almost going down. He's got his ulti. He doesn't need it. Snipes him off there. Jesiz is going to get hit back. 2 out of 3 blasts of it. And Jesiz almost going down. Good turnaround from Fnatic.
Yeah, but very, very nice juke by Jesiz here. Otherwise, it would have been a beautiful double kill for xPeke. Now he can push down the lane. Remember, the tower is so low from before where Jesiz was roaming to the bottom lane. So Fnatic now getting a kill. Can also get a tower. Still Freddy up in his top lane. He's just being annoying.
And, well, playing the Renekton game, let's call it that. Peke meanwhile stealing away a Wraith camp. Now that Jesiz had to go home and recall. Actually, Jesiz coming back into lane here with almost the death cap. Candy Panda and the rest of the bottom lane, nRated, the other man in the bottom lane, actually moving up towards that mid lane. YellOwStaR also appearing. He's got his boots and mobility on now with that Kindle gem, so he's going to be a lot more dangerous running into you and having those combos to maybe cause a few problems for SK Gaming. For now, though, he's on defensive duty, and that is a lot of damage coming out. Ulti stripping him as well, and YellOwStaR might just have to back away.
Land one slow from SK Gaming, and then you just have so long range poke constantly down. Doesn't matter who it is. You can just poke them, and then nRated going in.
Flashed in for that one as well. Gonna get ulted underneath the tower. YellOwStaR lands his combo. Shockwave comes in though, and it's a 1-for-1. But Cyanide, he has to flash away from the danger. Here comes the ultimate out of Peke. Can he land it? And, well, he did manage to land them, but not enough damage to actually get a kill. 1 for 1, both supports down.
And there was no source for this fight here. It was just 4 members from Fnatic. And once again, nRated trying to do the flash engages on this Gragas. I've not been too impressed yet. He's missed quite some engages this time. They did actually trade 1 for 1. But still took a lot of damage under the tower against only 4 members from Fnatic.
1 for 1, and they may lose out on Dragon here. He's going to go over to Fnatic, smited down in the end by Cyanide.
They still need to defend this mid lane.
Yeah, they have to loop around for that one because both Jesiz and Freddy are there. Top lane also pretty open. We're going to see Freddy there just recalling home. Doesn't really even need to TP towards that top lane either. He's pretty safe to just walk back. He's pushed all the way up towards the inner turret. And in fact, sOAZ has now switched towards that bottom lane. Got a bit more freedom to farm down there.
And we have already seen some fights being engaged by the supports. And it's going to continue through the entire game because they are going to be the main engage for both teams. YellOwStaR needs to go in, land his knock-up, and then sOAZ can follow up, Sana can flank around. And you have all the long-range poke from both xPeke and Rekkles. And on the side of SK Gaming, I mean, it's going to be hard for Freddy to engage the fights. He needs to like dash forward, and if Fnatic is out of position, sure, it might work. Otherwise, it's going to be all about nRated. Landing his ulti, knocks someone into his own team, and then they kill them. Otherwise, they just have to sit and poke from range and hope for a cocoon from Svenskeren.
And there's that age-old story between the two supports as well. Of course, nRated used to support YellOwStaR.
Yeah.
And legendary combo
supported
that worked back
Rekkles
in the day. Supported Rekkles too. Yeah, that is true.
It's actually been part of the Fnatic bottom lane both ways. Now onto this top lane.
Oh,
YellOwStaR.
Where is it in no man's land here? Actually going to take a lot of damage. He's going to get his combo off onto nRated, but he needs to flash away from that one. Very much in danger. nRated actually coming out. Going to go aggressive. Svenskeren's coming in. Let's not forget there's no outer turret available. Svenskeren is just going to go straight to, misses a cocoon. YellOwStar's still alive, but it's only a matter of time. It's Jesiz that gets the finisher.
And look at the mid lane here. Freddy, he stayed. He didn't want to go up and join. He had to teleport if needed. So he's pushing in this mid tower. xPeke trying to do what he can to defend it.
Nothing.
Didn't work here. So a kill for SK Gaming and the mid tower, and we are very even in gold at this moment.
Well, they need to move because they might lose the inner tower in that top lane as well. A fresh minion wave just come into that one, and actually Svenskeren flashes cocoon, and they get sOAZ underneath his own turret there, and they can just turn around. This tower is a goner. There's no way they can save that.
And that is bottom lane here. Rekkles tried to take the tower, forced away by Freddy. So first mid tower by Freddy, then he walks down to this bottom lane, make sure they don't lose the tower, and very, very good moves by SK Gaming. Get the kill, get 2 towers, flash onto sOAZ, instant cocoon him and kill him, and really punishing Fnatic for being a little bit slow moving around the map here. xPeke was moving from the mid lane to the top, and then he moved back to the mid lane, and Rekkles was stuck in his bottom lane trying to push it in. So SK Gaming had the numbers advantage.
He's left the turret here though. Actually Rekkles trying to get it finished off, but we saw the TP from Freddy coming in. Did manage to save his tower as well on his way through. Meanwhile, blue buff started off there by Cyanide, but too many members around it from SK. Needs to back away to safety. It looks like that blue buff will be secured for them. However, Jesiz can't really afford to leave this mid lane just for now. With that turret being so low, finally they push it out. And he'll be able to just move in, kill the blue buff for himself.
So everyone now is taking it easy. We've had a lot of fights going on. Only a few kills, but more been about the towers. 4 towers for SK Gaming already. The main reason for them being in the lead in terms of gold. And then of course, if you look at the farm, I mean, yeah, Freddy did win his lane up in the top lane. Was expected from him to do it. But sOAZ still been doing the best thing he actually could. Picking up the farm. And now has completed static shift as well.
Yep, Shiv in on top of his Blade of the Ruin King. Other side though, we see Ravenous Hydra and the Randuin's done for Fred. He's got another chain vest in there as well, so he's more than equipped to deal with sOAZ at this point. Probably won't be too worried about that. Both mid laners also got their death caps finished off. And the extra blasting one as well picked up for Jesiz. If you look down the AD carries as well, Infinity Edge and Shiv now done for Rekkles. Big point of the game for him. Other side, Trinity Force. It's going to be a Blade next for Candy Panda.
And the engage from Fnatic is so important because they need to get onto Candy Panda with a knock-up or knock-back, and then they can actually take him out with swords. Otherwise, as we talked about earlier, they're going to rely on just long-range poke. It's going to be hard for sOAZ to get in by himself. Cyanide at this point is very squishy. Same, of course, goes for sOAZ. If they go in alone and someone is zoning the rest of Fnatic away, it's very easy for SK Gaming, especially Candy Panda, once you complete the Blade, to just kill them. Jesiz is there to help him as well. Already got Death Cap going for YellOwStaR as his next item. So he's just gonna be stronger and stronger and offer a lot of protection for Candy Panda in these fights.
You have to feel next fight may break out around the Dragon. Coming up in 1 minute's time is that. I see the recall from xPeke. He's going to be back into position just in time for that. Actually picked up Sorcerer Shoes and also the Seeker's Arm Guard. So getting the workings there of Zhonya's nRated. Going to find sOAZ, and that's the support Gragas that's bullying here.
Yeah,
the Yasuo out of the lane. Candy Panda comes across. sOAZ actually going a bit more offensive onto him, but he's not going to be able to escape it. And Candy Panda getting a free kill.
So nRated here just going straight for sOAZ, knocks him back into Candy Panda. Was a good win wall, but just didn't do enough, and they're kill now, pushing onto this tower. SK Gaming gonna get the 5th tower of the game.
They're too quick for Fnatic. They've got no chance of getting around to stop the turret. It may look for a fight though. SK starts to back away, and there you see the zoning potential of that ball. Stick it in the middle of the jungle. They decide not to push through, and SK just gonna storm towards Dragon. Well, that turret needs about 1 hit, I think,
go
in the
and
mid
attack
lane.
it. Fnatic needs to go and take this mid tower here, just trade it for the Dragon. Still, again, a kill for SK Gaming. We saw the same thing happen in the top lane, where it's a kill onto YellOwStaR, and instantly they take a tower and take a next tower and just keep getting all this global gold. 2 towers now from Fnatic, but did lose the Dragon.
Got a lot of wards as well on that bottom side of the map there to SK Gaming. Have to wonder whether they're going to stick around and try and get anyone else. Actually, they're not. They're going to recall. sOAZ is going to come back out. 0-2-0, not been the best showing so far from sOAZ. I mean, he's had a hard lane to start with, up against the Renekton. Freddy having an easy time of it on the other side, of course. And now building even stronger up. There is that turret going down. So 5-3 is now in favor of SK Gaming. Fnatic, what's the next plan for them? Because it's one thing cracking the outer ring of turrets, but getting onto those inner turrets against a team that's leading you in gold, 3,000 of it to be precise at this stage, may be difficult for them here. And SK are going to start to actually ward up around the Baron area.
Fnatic, they do have flash on YellOwStaR now, so he can flash engage. Otherwise, they do need Cyanide to just flank around here, but it would require them to get a lot of wards down to actually spot where SK Gaming is moving. And at the moment, if you do look at the minimap, around the Baron, where SK Gaming is putting their focus, they have all the wards, 2 pink wards, or actually 3 pink wards down already. And now they can just move in here, wait for Fnatic to move in towards the Baron here, and we can have the standard dance we often see. I doubt the SK actually wants to just start the Baron.
YellOwStaR actually just going to dive straight in for that one, and well, that may be Svenskeren going down. Actually, he's trying to get away. xPeke's ultimate, not quite enough damage to finish him off. Freddy gets in the middle as well. Shockwave comes in from Jesiz, and it's Candy Panda that is going to get the first kill. There's one for Svenskeren. Can they get any more? Do they even need any more? They're just going to back off towards Baron.
So the Baron dance, it didn't last for long, but it really worked for SK Gaming here. sOAZ, he was running from the base. He wasn't there. So flash engage from YellOwStaR without sOAZ being part of it. He's the guy who's supposed to follow up. Miscommunication from Fnatic here and a big mistake.
Oh, nRated, they're taking a lot of damage, but Baron's already down to half HP. It's xPeke from the backside that's going to be trying to deal the damage. It's a good stun onto Freddy. Can't quite get the finishing blow though. SK get the first Baron of the game. Fnatic though are pushing down mid.
Let's see, there's only a few minions, so they can tank it up here. They need to be careful, nRated's coming.
nRated from the side. No barrel available to him just yet, but he gets the slow onto sOAZ. Will they get any more from it? No, they won't. sOAZ and Rekkles able to just walk away around the side, but that may be the tipping point of this game that SK have been looking for. They've already done a fantastic job of moving around to the map to get those turret kills, and you see that's a lot of gold for every person on the team.
And the last 2 times we've seen SK Gaming take towers, it's because they've caught Fnatic out of position. This time around, it was YellOwStaR flash engaging. We talked about how he could do it on Alistar here, straight onto SK Gaming. But it was only 4 members from Fnatic. Cyanide wasn't in position to join in properly either. And then sOAZ was running from base, which simply meant easy team fight for SK Gaming. Take it, take the Baron. They didn't even have to dance around, didn't have to invest time. They straight up got the Baron, can now push up in and look for a fight. go in towards the tower. We have seen what they can do already at the tower because they have the ball to zone, they have the barrels from nRated as well, and if someone gets too close, you just knock them back into your team, you land a cocoon, and then you kill them.
And the AD carries again, you have to say it. 3-0-3 for Candy Panda, Rekkles 2-0-0. They're the ones that are going to be doing the real damage in these games. Going to be the targets as well, obviously, if you look at the other side of that one. Currently, SK just trying to strangle Fnatic out. That middle inner turret is the only one outside of the base that's still left standing, and SK have their sights set on it here. We'll see if Fnatic can actually defend that one, whether they'll want to defend it either.
They need to actually push the top lane here. It's going in favor of Fnatic. Get it pushing towards SK Gaming. Oh, sorry, towards Fnatic in choose lane. Rekkles going for Freddy.
Trying to kill off Freddy, but he is pretty tanky. Ultimate will be popped. He's slowly but surely going down. Rekkles taking masses of damage there. They do get the kill, but they've lost their inner tower for the pleasure.
So simply traded the tower, didn't really feel they could defend it, and moved straight down towards Freddy down in this split push. Killed him. We did see the combo where you use your ulti as Tristana just to get the knockback, and instantly Yasuo jumps, gets the armor penetration, everything. So they get a kill, lost the tower, however. SK Gaming should be happy with the trade.
That's alright for that one single kill. We'll see. We'll see if that makes a problem for them. We've got another dragon coming up in 1 minute's time as well.
Yeah, so maybe actually SK Gaming wouldn't be happy because now the whole push is kind of gone. Because Freddy died, yeah, so you traded the tower for the kill. But you can't push up for the next one because they wanted to keep Freddy, keep pushing this bottom lane against sOAZ and just push up the mid lane. Now I had to step away from the push simply because Freddy died. So I guess in that case, Fnatic managed to delay them.
Yeah, Alistar got some great moves there. Really? No one's laughing at that?
It's a bit too easy.
Terrible. So, let's have a look down items again here because we've gone past the half-an-hour point in the game. We'll start with AD carries because Candy Panda started at 3-0-3, has now added a Last Whisper, got a Negatron cloak, has upgraded his boots. On the other side, the BF sword and a Vamp Scepter. So looking like Rekkles actually going to be headed in for a Bloodthirster here next, get himself that shield.
Very surprised Candy Panda actually bought a Last Whisper here. There's not a lot of armor on the side of Fnatic, at least not enough to make it worth it for him because he has so much magic damage on his W already. Sure, there's a Guardian Angel for sOAZ, but I don't know. Probably should have gone either for a defensive item already or build in for even more attack speed.
Oh, Jesiz actually getting caught out here in the middle, and it looks like Peke's trying to finish him off. Candy Panda coming in. Shockwave went on to Cyanide. Is the damage there? It's a good stun from Peke. They got the tower in the top lane, and now they're going to try and kill off Freddy, actually knocking him away there. And sOAZ wasn't in range to actually get his ultimate off onto him. There we go, though. Ulti is going to finally come down, and Freddy's going to go low. Probably get finished off, especially since sOAZ GA lost half of his health. In the mid lane, SK, though, still pushing on through.
They need to try and get down this tower here, but all the members from Fnatic already recalling, and SK Gaming forced away once again. Rekkles roaming around, going to the lane where sOAZ is, looks for Freddy, and just jumps him. 2 versus 1, kills him, and once again, you delay SK Gaming. They have to wait for Freddy to respawn. Everyone just backs away here.
We have a 5k gold lead, 5,500 really for SK. We'll see how they can push this one forward because the later the game goes on, traditionally SK have been at their strongest. We said it before in the spring split, in the first half maybe you can say of the summer split as well. Late game decision making was their real big strong point.
Yeah, always focusing on rotating, baiting Baron. They did bait Baron this game here. Only had to do it for like 20 seconds and then they actually had the Baron picked up. But it's what they used to love to do. We always saw these late game comps as well. And this time around, Freddy is just becoming a pure tank. We did see his damage before if he actually gets onto Rekkles, but it's going to be pretty much impossible for him to do it in the fight. So he's just going to try and soak up as much damage as possible. And now once again, we're back to the Baron, spawning in about a minute. SK Gaming already put up the wards. But look behind them here. The wards from Fnatic. Also just a spot where SK Gaming is moving towards the Baron.
Rekkles needs to get away. He actually takes the rocket jump away from the cocoon. He's a little bit out of position there. got to be in a dangerous point for him. Just want to, while we're on the topic of Rekkles, point out that he's just 13 kills away from leveling ManCloud's record of the most kills in a split. I don't think he's going to get 13 this game, though.
No, and then he has a game tomorrow where he needs to get it. I mean, give him 5 more kills in this game and it could be very possible. I just think back to his like 18-0 game against Copenhagen Wolves.
Yeah. Well, he needs
Probably not gonna happen again.
2 pentas and a triple, and he's there. That'd be something special if he could manage that. We'll have to see, though. Because right now it's SK that are firmly in the driving seat, and we've got 20 seconds for the next Baron to spawn into the map. SK are already getting themselves into position, scanning out all of those bushes to get rid of Fnatic's limited warding. And then we'll surely just back away and we'll see, because last time, let's recap on that. It was a flash in from YellOwStaR, and again it looks like YellOwStaR might be getting caught out. Ulti is going to come in from xPeke from the distance. YellOwStaR is actually still alive, but up until now there's no damage. Shockwave was actually with there trying to get Rekkles. YellOwStar still alive, finally goes down. sOAZ doing good damage, but can't finish up nRated. His Guardian Angel is popped, and Freddy is just bullying them off the side. There is the kill on sOAZ. 2 for nothing, might end up being even more here.
And everyone from Fnatic, for some reason, are going towards nRated. The ulti from sOAZ was used on nRated, the knockup was used on nRated, everything onto the support. He even stays alive, and the rest of SK Gaming just cleans up. Freddy was tanking 2 members from Fnatic throughout the entire fight, and the guy is even above 50% HP.
Yeah, I'm really unsure about why they were going in there for nRated this entire time. They've healed up a little bit now, though, and they're going to come back into it. The turret is taking a lot of damage, though, and will go down. So, inhib down in the mid lane, inhib turret in the top lane is gone. And now we have, of course, the Baron spawning back into the map. SK actually recalling, though.
Well, they take a lot of damage. They pick up some gold as well from the towers. They already got mid inhib, so can now go back to Baron, do the same kind of bait. There is teleport on sOAZ and 4 members from Fnatic. They could actually try and rush this one. It's like a disp now. No chance at all.
They'd have
maybe
to,
a bit too desperate if they did.
They'd have to spot it first that SK weren't actually around there. YellOwStaR going to put a ward down, or clear a ward out there on the backside. sOAZ also having to get rid of the big wave that's pushed up onto this bottom inhibitor turret. And now SK are already back in here, streaming in. They don't have Candy Panda with them just yet. He's actually going to get himself the red buff before coming back into the team. And
their Alistar Yasuo combo has not worked for Fnatic in this game at all. Not a single time did they actually combine the two together, where YellOwStaR would flash in, knock up an important target like Jesiz or Candy Panda, and then sOAZ would join in. Every single time, he's either too far away or they don't actually get the target they want. And therefore, these team fights become pretty much impossible for Fnatic to win, because they don't get this all in from the Yasuo, don't get the right knockups. Now there's no flash on YellOwStaR for the next fight, which means SK Gaming can now move in again, go towards the inhibitor.
Recall from sOAZ. xPeke just trying at max range to keep him away from this innie, but it's going to take a lot of damage, and look at the damage coming out on the back. YellOwStar's in the middle. He's actually got a 4-man knock up there, but can they turn that into kills? sOAZ is low at the back. He's nowhere near the fight. Shockwave was whipped again down the bottom, and Rekkles, being the focus, blasted around. sOAZ will finally be finished off, and that's already 2 men down. No top laner, no support, nRated is chasing up Rekkles, bashes him down with a barrel, and this will surely be game here for SK. They're gonna have minions coming up from the top side of the map that they can use to tank. Still 2 men left for Fnatic. Not sure it's enough to hold, though.
But this time, YellOwStaR hit everyone with the knockup, and sOAZ wasn't once again in a position to use his ulti. Whatever happened, I'm not sure if he was interrupted, but he didn't follow up, and Fnatic losing the game.
Here we go then. SK Gaming already got rid of the Nexus turrets. They're gonna finish off the game, and what a way to go through Super Week, beating both of the top 2 teams in the league. A return to form here maybe for SK at exactly the right time in the year.
And nobody could kill Candy Panda in these team fights here. It was all about sOAZ getting onto Candy Panda and kill him. Didn't work at all, and therefore he just stayed in the back, didn't die. 5-0 and 5. Good game by SK Gaming, but a very sloppy performance by Fnatic.
You have to wonder what happened there in that fight, because YellOwStaR, I think for the first real time in the game, was able to get in there and get a 4-man knockup. Prime time, prime positioning for sOAZ. I'm actually watching it back on my second monitor just so we can figure out exactly what happened to sOAZ. Indeed, as sOAZ tried to get in there, at the exact moment that the knockup came down, he got stunned by Freddy as he's trying to get in there, stopped him doing it, and may well have just won that entire fight for SK.
Perfect tank performance by Freddy. Then he went in, stunned him as you just said, so he couldn't actually use it. And also the fight before, it was Freddy against everyone from Fnatic pretty much, and he just tanked all the damage. He even forced Rekkles actually to move away, even flash away from him. So such a good performance by Freddy in these team fights on Renekton. Picked up a lot of farm, they got a lot of towers. And SK Gaming, because they managed to punish Fnatic for all the bad team fights, ended up taking the game and looked very good in these fights as well. Except for Jesiz and his ultimates, they kind of whiffed a few times.
They did, but at the end of the day, if you win the game, doesn't really matter.
Right, he still looked good, of course, just his ultis.
Yeah. He actually finished 3-0-6, didn't die. 5-0-5 for Candy. I mean, Candy Panda never looked in danger of being taken down. We saw in the fight previous to that one there that won them the game, they focus on nRated, real tunnel vision onto nRated with sOAZ putting his ulti in there. The knockup was thrown onto him as well to set that one up, and you just have to wonder if they're all clumped up, why are you going for the support and not the 5-0-5